So Capcom are intending on continuing their relationship with Apple by bringing Resident Evil once again to the Silicon platform in the form of Resident Evil 2. Is this a good idea? What's up, guys? Andy here from Biohazard Declassified, and let's talk about our favourite survival horror franchise on the Apple Silicon platform.
Biohazard.
Resident Evil 2 Remake is coming to iPhone, iPad and Mac on December 10th. Obviously, this comes courtesy of Jamatsu. I think it's unbelievable. I mean, this is the fourth game that's going to be ported to the App Store, the Apple Silicon platform. You do have to have M1 or newer, so I've got an M1 Mac here. I can play Resident Evil, RE Engine Resident Evil on this. If you'd have told me 10 years ago you could play games on a Mac, and it looks fairly good, I'd have told you no. I have like fond memories 10 years ago of playing Team Fortress 2 on my like 2010 MacBook Pro, and it was absolutely diabolical. I had to play it on like low at like 800 by 600 just to get a stable frame rate. It was diabolical. But here you can play it at decent frame rates. I think you can at least get 30 frames per second, which is insane performance considering, the MacBook Air M1 is fanless, don't even have a fan in it, so it's unbelievable. And the fact you can play it on your phone, your iPhone 15, 16 Pro, etc., is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I will say it's a technological achievement, and for the longest time this is what the Switch should have been. Instead of relying on cloud, it should have had, even though it would have been compromised, native ports of Resident Evil on the Switch. And that's really where I think Apple could be capitalizing on that type of market, that kind of get up and go, play it on a bus, play it around your friend's house, etc., etc. I think that's a fundamentally good thing. However, we have to look at empirical data we have to date, and this comes courtesy of Kotaku, who says that Resident Evil 7 is the latest AAA port to flop on iPhone, M1, iPad, etc. It all comes under the same umbrella. So the numbers are absolutely insane, guys. So I'm going to scroll down. I did see it earlier. I think I might have gone. So here we go. So 2023's Resident Evil 4 Remake did a bit better after 6 months on the market. It was downloaded 357 times. So it wasn't bought 357 times, because the idea on the on the M1 is you can try it, and it's got an in-app purchase to bump it up to the full game if you want to do that. Only 7,000 people bought Resident Evil 4 Remake on iPhone. What? And Village is even worse. Like 5,700 people bought Village. Like, again, I'm not expecting millions and millions of sales, guys, but I'm not in game development. Actually, you can see here, 2,000 people paid for Resident Evil 7 on the Apple platform. Like, I'm not a developer, but how on earth is this justifying development costs? Like, and bearing in mind, again, not a developer, but I've heard stories about how difficult Apple can be to develop with the fees that they charge, etc. They're not an easy platform to work with. So, like, how is these low volume sales justifying them bringing Resident Evil 2 to the platform? I'd really like to know, and maybe Capcom could come out. Obviously, we're not entitled to this information. I'm sure shareholders are entitled to this information, of course, but it'd just be interesting to know, why do they keep doing this? Like, I can see the potential of the platform, but there's just so many fundamental things, which I'll go into in a second, which are preventing it from being that almost Switch competitor of playing games on the go. Like, I truly believe this is a cool-ass platform to work with. Like, I love the idea that I could be sitting at work and I could just boot up a copy of Resident Evil 2 and it be, like, native. I don't have to go online or anything like that. I think that's amazing. I think it's really, really good. They really need to enter that Switch area. So I was kind of pontificating. Why have they got such low sales? Initially, the first one I come to, it has to be to do with when it came out. These ports are not launching in parity with the main release line, like the PC, PS5, Xbox, etc. So obviously that's going to play a massive part into it. Like, for example, if I bought Resident Evil 4 Remake on PS5, which I did, I'm not gonna buy Resident Evil 4 remake again, like a year later, just because it's on an iPhone. I'm gonna have to start again. You know, got no achievements or anything like that. Like, there's very little incentive for me to do that. And I'm getting a compromised port as well. So I think if it has any sort of chance of competing against these platforms, it needs to launch at the same time. And it does make you think, if it is compromised, and I hate to say this because it is a bit of a contradiction because the Switch does this, is you might as well just get it on Game Pass or something like that. I think it was on Game Pass, actually, Resident Evil 2. So if you'd have got it on Game Pass, that would have completely, like, I mean, you just stream it to your phone. You get probably full 60 frames a second. It won't kill your battery life, won't kill your storage. Because, like, Resident Evil 4 is like 64 gigs. Like, that's a lot for an iPhone. Like, say you buy a 128 gig iPhone 16. Like, that's half your data wiped out on Resident Evil 4, which is absolutely insane. I thought because it was a compromised port, maybe the file size was a bit more compressed, but I guess not. So that was one reason they do need to launch at the same time if they've got any chance of competing and really pumping up those sales in line with the other platforms. The second big one, guys, and I only just discovered this as I was going through. Not only are they launching not in parity, they're launching it like a year after or whatever. This is Resident Evil 4 on the App Store. It's got the in-app purchases here. You might be able to see it. Base game, $60. This game launched for $60 a year later. What? Why? Why is this game launching $60 a year after it comes out on a far better ecosystem? It's not really a reason. It's not cost effective to get it on this platform. Obviously, that doesn't count the DLC. That's not like the gold edition. Like the DLC packs and everything like that, that's all extra. Like that's 60, 70, dude, that's $90 to get the definitive Resident Evil 4 experience. $90 on an iPhone. And it's not the definitive version because it's on a fucking iPhone. Like, well, let's say it how it is. But at least it's the full version, I guess. So, like, they need to address this. I suspect this is to do with how Apple take big percentages, I would have thought, on costs, I guess. But again, I'm going back to it. How is these low volume sales, one, justifying the return on investment for the development they've already done on these three games to port them to Apple, and secondly, porting Resident Evil 2 remake to the platform? Why are they not just cutting their losses? There has to be something here that Capcom are like, we need to just persevere with this and punch through. If you guys have an inkling of what that could be, let me know in the comment section. I would really, really love to know. And again, this is going to make you really laugh just as we kind of cap this video off. But I thought, what's the best way of playing Resident Evil 4? Probably the PC. You can not only buy Resident Evil 4, you can buy the entire remake trilogy, including all DLC. All DLC for every... So this is Resident Evil 2, 3... 2, 3, all of the DLC and 4 remake for so that'll be about $85. So for less than what they're charging on Apple, you can buy like 3 games on and all the DLC on Steam. So that just shows you how absolutely insane this proposition is. I really hope it succeeds because, again, I think that Apple is such an interesting platform. I'm a big believer in the Mac OS platform. I always said that I would love to move away from Windows tomorrow, but the gaming side is just not there yet. It's just not there. They've got something good there, and clearly their devices are more than capable to run these unbelievable games. And I feel like they've got the jump on the Switch for having hardware-based releases rather than cloud releases, which is what you would expect them to do. But this is just not economically working, if you don't mind, like, in my opinion. Like, again, I'm not an economist. I'm not an accountant. I don't work for Capcom. I would never, tell them what to do or anything like that. But I would question internally, is this worth it? Is it worth the internal return on investment to keep porting these games and only selling like 2,000 of them? Is that even covering the cost of developing the port and all of the silly fees that Apple want, like all the silly sign-up fees and developer tools and shit you need to actually get on the platform. I'd really love to know that, guys. So yeah, if you've got any feedback or you've got any comments that can help us establish why I keep doing this, please let us know in the comment section. As ever, my name's Andy. This is Biohazard Declassified. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Drop a cheeky subscription if you love this type of content, and hopefully we'll see all of you very, very soon.